Hey everyone, it's Holly from askhollyhall.com. Today I've got a real big treat for you. We are going to be talking about your moon, and your past life. And if you're listening to this after the fact, I want you to go down there and take a look at where you can find out what your moon sign is in. And that tells me what your past life was, or many past lives. Do you know that I can even tell when I'm looking at somebody's chart whether they were female or male in many lives? Yeah, I can. And it's interesting because there are a lot of masculine signs. I am live, and we are just going to get myself on TikTok as well. And I want you guys to let me know if it gets a little weird, because we're having internet issues per se. Okay. What I love about my audience here is they know a lot of what their astrology is, and SRB has been even teaching me some stuff that I am just delving into now. In fact, I did a whole video dedicated to that. So what I want you to do, SC, because you really want to know, is just Google it right now and say, how can I find out my sidereal moon sign, my Vedic moon sign? Put Vedic moon sign calculator, and you can put it in right away, and you can find out what your moon sign is, because that is what we are going to be focusing on today. This is going to be a shorter one. Aries, ascendant Leo, moon Sagittarius. The moon in Sagittarius, what you really want to know is your north node too. But your full moon, your moon determines were you just previously to this lifetime. The Sagittarius is a masculine energy. The sun is a masculine energy. So you probably were a man in a past life, and you probably feel quite comfortable being a man. I remember when I was younger and I was not comfortable being a woman. I did not like being a woman. In fact, many of my experiences as an adult, I didn't like being a woman. And I mean, I like it. I like it now. But there were times where, like, I'm going to be a man in my next life. It just seems like life would be a lot easier if you were a man. Any girls? Thumbs up, thumbs down? What do you think? And maybe it's because we live in this patriarchal world where I think it would just make life easier. It's not like I fought the patriarchal world. It's not like I tried to be, a physician, or any male, own a construction company, or, any of the male oriented jobs. But yeah, I'm just then I found out that my moon was in Capricorn, which is a very strong, you were a man in your past life. Not only were you a man, you were the boss of you, and you had some power. And I was like, okay. Aries, moon, that's a past life. You were a man as well. And in my TikTok, you guys, I'm over on YouTube. So if you really want to join the fun and the conversation, get over to my YouTube channel. Of course, it's Ask Holly Hall as well. And we are going to be talking about moon signs. So if you know what your moon sign is, scroll up, or give me your birth date closer to the end of this live, and I can take a look at what your moon sign. So we're going to start off with Aries. And Aries is, there we go. Aries is someone who was a warrior, was a pioneer, was a soldier, was a lone fighter, and an impulsive leader. And in this lifetime, you're learning not just patience, but you're also learning to consider others. And you're learning to be a leader, okay, in this lifetime as well. But to do it with the consideration of others. What are you advocating? What are you fighting for? What is your battle? A lot of people with moon and Aries, they have war wounds. They wave the white flag early on in life. Literally, your literally your t-shirt could say, I survived this war. And God loves you too, Janelle Trim. And I love how these people, like, come on and just like, Jesus love you, God loves you. I think it's great. Uh, Now, the Taurus is a former banker, the artist, the sensationalist, and someone very attached to land and possessions. Randy, how did the moon in Aries resonate with you? It does, moon in Aries can be someone who is impatient, quick for it to emotionally respond to life, but quick to get over it too, like very quick to get over things. And with the Taurus, you're more dedicated to your emotional well-being. You're more loyal to the people around you, and you come from this life from a lifetime where you were a banker, where you worked for other people, and where you helped other people get money, specifically those that worked the land. And sometimes they were in construction, but possessions were very important to them. And in this lifetime, you're letting go of material security. You're learning to release material security. But guess how that happens? It happens because you have a need, which is the moon, an emotional need for emotional financial security. And so the more that you look for emotional financial security, the more you're going to realize it doesn't work. It doesn't satiate you. And then we've got Moon in Gemini. Now, your past life is you were a messenger, probably a trader, a teacher, a speaker, or someone that shared news or information, and might have even been a newspaper writer or a journalist or an author. Now, I look at the rest of the chart too. So I'm really generalizing when I'm looking at just the moon itself. But this is someone who is a jack of all trades and you were the eternal student. But in this lifetime, you're deepening your emotional commitment. You're letting go of scattered thinking and telling everybody that they're wrong. There is this emotional need to be right. It makes you feel like, you got your scruples about you. Thank you, Amy. Look at Amy likey. In my abandonment, abuse, and other issues. Well, Randy, that would depend on where your Neptune is in your chart and if you've got Pisces in your chart right now. And your moon in Aries, that's not sidereal astrology, is it? It's not Vedic, it's Western. So most likely your moon is in Pisces, which would 100% mean abandonment, abuse, and other issues. 100%. And I like freedom. Anything owning is for me like a trap. Yeah, and you had said that your moon is in Sagittarius, right? We're going to get there. The moon in Cancer, now that's a feminine energy. That's like you were probably a female in a past life. Whether you're female or male in this lifetime, you were probably a female in your past life. So much so you were a mother, you were a caretaker, and you were a tribal protector. You were the very important part of a family, very important part of the clan. But in this lifetime, you're learning to nurture yourself, not to have other people meet your needs. And therefore, you most likely do suffer that your mother didn't meet your emotional needs, or if you are a parent, that you're hoping that your children will meet your emotional needs, and they don't, because you're here to become independent. I want to open an online clothing store. Will it be a hit? Your moon is in Libra. We're going to get there soon. I'll take a look at you October 31st, 95. My first thing is that I'm getting with October 31st, and please reply before I take a look at your birth chart, is that you are wanting to open up an online clothing store, but what you're doing is it's very ethical. So there's a lot of research that has to be done here for you, October 31st, and that ethical nature about not only the product, but where the product is coming from is what's important. I don't know if I cut out there because I could see my internet unstable on my phone, but let me know if that is a type of store that you're opening up. For Leo, you are the king and the queens and the performer, the childhood that had privileges, someone that was in the spotlight. And the reason that you are not getting the spotlight in this lifetime, you did when you were younger. Leo moons, when they're young, they got a lot of attention. And then the second child came and a third child came where you realized you weren't an only child and a separation happened and there was a departure of your family unit. And then all of a sudden you felt like, I'm not important anymore. So you're here to find your own inner worth. The answer is that yes, I've done extensive research. I know what I want to launch. I have made my own designs, etc. Yes, is yes mean yes, it's down that ethical route. And yes, it's around not only where the product comes from, but where the fabric comes from as well. Is that what the yes is for? So my answer to that, if that's yes, 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 the answer is yes, it will be very successful. Okay. I don't see millions, but I see success. For Virgo, you are the healer, the monk, the nun, the servant, the perfectionist, the craftsman. And why not? Why not? We everyone needs someone that's really good at what they do in life. Is that not true? And therefore, what you're here though in this lifetime is to stop the self-criticism, to be much more self-accepting and release the guilt. Because if you become a servant in this lifetime, you are not doing yourself any service. Serving others is perfectly fine. When you become a servant, get rid of that person, get rid of that job, get rid of that situation. Okay. Thank you for the likes, Amy. AskHollyHall.com is where you can go and get a mini reading and find out who you are. Some of you have had readings by me. Now, if you are a Libra moon, oh my gosh, you guys are people pleasers. Libra moons, you just love the sake of peace and diplomacy for the sake of making just not, ruffling any feathers. You don't want to ripple the waters. And this is someone where you just avoided conflict. And on an emotional level, you still avoid conflict at all cost. And think about that, at all cost. You're the artist and you are a partner. You just love to partner with people. Emotionally, you need a partner. You like to partner with friends. You don't like to do things on your own. But guess what? You're here to learn to stand alone and to not need approval, not need acceptance in order to be happy emotionally. Then there's Scorpio. These are the shamans, the witches, the spies, the underworld figures, the perpetrator or the victim of intense, powerful dynamics. So you come in this lifetime and you don't trust. You can't let go of control. You want your environment to be under control because you really don't trust people emotionally at all. You're very careful. You're very cautious, but you can read a room. You can read a room. You know who you can trust and who you can't trust, just like that. So in this lifetime, you're learning to let go of control and you're learning to trust yourself. As a Sagittarius, you are the philosopher, the explorer, the priest, the gypsy. You are the eternal seeker of knowledge. You've developed your philosophy in a past life. You developed your belief system in a past life. And this lifetime, you're being asked to live it. Live what you believe in. You don't necessarily have to preach it, which is what you might have done. You just need to live it. So this is about grounding yourself to follow through and not escape reality. Yeah, I can tell you about your moon in the houses as well. Definitely. So I think I answered the question for you around your success in your career. What field of career should I be in? Chart is mainly a bowl shape, I think. Okay, let me look at yours, Nisha. And Capricorn, your authority figure. You're the elders, you're the builders, you're the men, you're the masculine energy in past lives. And you carried a heavy responsibility in a past life. And therefore, emotionally, you feel like you want to carry that heavy burden as well in this lifetime. You don't necessarily want to work for other people. You don't want to be other people to be the boss of you. So therefore, Capricorn moons, I'm a Capricorn moon, you have to be in a self-employed situation or at least a job where you're autonomous, you kind of work for yourself, or it's an autonomous job. Like a teacher can be an autonomous job, a therapist, a doctor, even somebody that just, works on their own fixing cars in their own shop is an autonomous job. Okay. And I have been self-employed my entire life since the age of 26, 25, maybe even younger, 24, like all my life. And so there's Aquarius, which is what I thought I was for the longest time, being a Western astrologer at one time, is you're the revolutionary outsiders. You're the scientists, you're the members, you're the utopian groups. You are the everlasting, what I call the Uranians. You don't frequent this planet often and you just don't feel like you fit in, and you probably never will. So start acting woo woo and weird and let other people see you for who you really are. I forgot to say that Capricorns are here to learn softness and receive help and emotional expression. I'm not very good at that. But Aquarius's moons are here to learn personal love and emotional connection, and try to get out of the head and get into the heart. And last but not least, we've got Pisces, which is the mystic, martyr, artist, victim, monk, addict, monk. Virgo was a monk too, and those are opposite of each other, the same but different. The addict is a savior and the one who was saved, and usually comes from a childhood of abandonment, and usually it's the mother that abandoned them, and it's the mother that also went through abandonment. So a lineage of healers trying to heal the abandonment wound. And in this lifetime, you are to set boundaries, discerning, and to be in a world where you're not always escaping reality. AskHollyHall.com is where you can get this reading done. Oh, Sagittarius, 29 degrees. Well, that's a special, that's what's a 29-degree means that you're here to wrap up all of that Sagittarius energy, like wrap up your philosophy, wrap up your belief system, figure out what that is, and just get it done. It's like you're in grade 12 of all of the years of your education. Me too, self-employed all my life. Yeah. Well, that's that Capricorn energy that you're moving into. And you might have already moved into it. So let's take about, can you tell us about moon and houses too? So let's go to Nishka. And as I'm looking at fifth house was about the kids. Yeah, absolutely. Because the first house is when you have a moon in the first house, you're here to discover on an emotional, to be emotionally satisfied with who you are. And until you discover who you are, who am I? And we're all born with amnesia. I don't understand why. I just did a video. Everybody, please go on my YouTube channel and look at my videos, like them, thumbs up, make comments. It really boosts up my algorithms because I don't get people making comments. I'll literally have clients go, I saw your video yesterday. That was so cool. And I was like, did you thumbs up it? Did you make a comment? No. So could you do that? Please, please, please. I know I get carried away doom scrolling and I don't do it either sometimes, but it really help me if you could. And I talked about how we're born with this amnesia and we don't know who we are. And if we don't know who we are, we will be lost. In the first 10 minutes when I talk to a client, I talk only about them and who they are exactly, and their jaw dropped. There's usually silence after because I just go for 10 minutes and then I hear nothing. And I'm like, hello? And they're like, "Ah, how do you know all that about me? I mean, you expressed it better than I could ever express myself. You said things I didn't, you verified things about me and made it make more sense than whatever I made sense of it because I saw it as a flaw and you saw it as a strength." And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how this works. I had another astrologer years ago going, "You're doing way more than astrology because what you're picking up on is beyond that." But I know that I've done this in many lifetimes as well. So what career should I be in? You do have somewhat of a bowl shape. That's absolutely right. So you know you are an amazing problem solver. You're here to problem solve. In fact, if you don't have a career by June of 2026, I'd be very surprised because there's going to be an opportunity coming your way, a very sudden, unexpected opportunity, and you are going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. And it's going to make really good money as well. You've got a moon in Libra. Remember, I do sidereal Vedic astrology. And you've got a gift of problem solving, of micromanaging, of managing an office, managing people. in general. And working from home, though, there's this comfort for you of working from home. You're quite introspective, you're empathic, but you're also an introvert. You're not really somebody that just wants to get out there. You are a people pleaser. You like to be around people. You could even get in the legal field or the beauty industry. Very well in the beauty industry, you would do. Okay. So hopefully that resonates with you. And let's take a look at my YouTube. Hopefully, some of you are going to come on over into my YouTube channel because I won't always be on TikTok. Ask Holly Hall. It does. Thank you. Nisha is very appreciative of the reading that I did for her around her career. Like, why go to therapist after therapist? Why not spend 15 minutes on a 15-minute reading with me and just get yourself figured out right away and move on, right? It makes life a lot easier. So, everyone, thank you for joining me. I said this was going to be a short one. This is basically your moon signs and your moon houses. Sorry, I did say I would break down the moon houses. Let me start from number one. Number one is getting to know yourself, emotionally being satisfied with who you are. Number two is to value yourself and to know what your values are. It's going to feel like it's about money. It's going to feel like it's about the paycheck because emotionally you feel satisfied when you have a regular paycheck because that's the world that we live in. But if you lived 200 years ago, it wouldn't be about that. It would be about tilling your land and tending to the natural growth of providing yourself with your own food or working in the banking industry, right? But in this lifetime, it's about making money. So it's about valuing who you are when you have a lot in the second house. The third house, your moon in your third house means that you emotionally love to gather knowledge and information. You're emotionally tied to your siblings, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong. And the third house means there's emotional challenges, emotional connection to your siblings. And if you are an only child, it's that longing and yearning that you had siblings, like you can't shake it. But it's also a place where you need to learn, you need to share knowledge, and you need to share your wisdom with others, and you like to emotionally talk. You don't need answers from people with the moon in the third house, but you do need to emotionally share what your thoughts are for the day and just get it out. Just like you need a sounding board. With it in the fourth house, the moon, there's a tie to your mother, there's a tie to your childhood, a very strong emotional tie to your childhood. And there's probably a breaking up of that childhood and that firm foundation called home. And there's an attachment there, and there's a need. There's a lot of needs that need to be met with whatever that moon sign is in. So make sure that you're not too needy and that you provide your needs for yourself and you take care of yourself and you nurture yourself. The fifth house, a lot to do with, and plus the fourth house means your home is your nest. Like you'll stay in one place and you'll hoard all your emotional belongings that mean something to you. And you don't really want to move. You just love that nesting feeling. The fifth house is about children. It's about creativity. It's about being creative. And it's about having children and being with children and being like a child. And being creative is emotionally very important. So hopefully, CRB, you enjoy that you see that the emotional satisfaction comes from your music, for instance. The sixth house means you're here to serve others and not a servant, but to serve others and also to emotionally take care of your physical health and your nutrition, because your emotions really affect your nutrition and your physical health. The seventh house is a feeling that you need to be partnered with someone. You need to have a partner. My moon's in the seventh house. I want to have a partner. I want to be side by side with somebody. I don't have to do everything with them. It's Capricorn, right? So Capricorn means I'm the boss of me. I like my alone time. I can be fine on my own. I've got Saturn right there too. But a lot of people with moon in the seventh house just don't like to do things alone. They'd rather uh, vacation with other people. Doesn't mean they don't like their alone time, but when they experience life, it's fun to do it with somebody else on a regular basis. And there is a need for fairness, a need for justice, an emotional need for fairness and justice. The eighth house, there means there's a lot of dark shadows that you're dealing with in this lifetime, possibly deaths that you've dealt with in this lifetime. There's an insecurity that life isn't safe. in this lifetime, but you've also got the mind of a psychotherapist, and you're able to hone in on a bullshitter a mile away when you got your moon. You're like Sherlock Holmes when it comes to the emotions of others. And you can tell when somebody is wearing a mask and they're not being true. The ninth house is about emotionally finding out what your philosophy is, what your belief system is. Traveling is important. Higher education is important. In fact, you like higher education better than you liked elementary education. The 10th house is about your career, your work, your contribution to society. Very important. A lot of self employed people or people that are high up in the corporate world have a moon in the 10th house. The 11th house is all about your wishes and your dreams, your aspirations, and your friendships, your circle of friends, your community of friends. Feeling very humanitarian when you got moon in the 11th house. And in the 12th house, sometimes there is a loss of mother in the 12th house. There is a lot of past life. So, whatever your past life is, look at what the moon sign is in. You're still continuing that karmic energy around it in this lifetime. Your dreams are very powerful when you have moon in the 12th house, and you do like your alone time when your moon is in the 12th house. I hope this resonates with all of you. Thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because it's going to be a little bit political tomorrow. So don't come back if you don't want to get political. And if you do, let's take a look at Mark Carney and Canada's chart tomorrow. Namaste.